It's good to see everybody on this very nice August evening. Welcome to tonight's Hackensack Public School Board of Education meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's remain standing, please. Maybe say thank you. As we start our meeting, let's pause to acknowledge that the Hackensack School District occupies the unceded ancestral lands of the Ramapo Munsee Lenape people. We are grateful to be able to learn, work, and gather today, and we continue our commitment to support all underserved and undervalued members of our school community. As a reminder, please speak slowly. Anybody that's going to come to the microphone for any reason, so that our translators and interpreters can keep up with us, please. All right. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the record, posted at the board office, and filed with the city clerk. I hereby call to order the regular public meeting on August 21st, 2024 in the Hackensack High School Media Center at 6:16 p.m. Ms. Singh, will you please do a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Carroll? Chris?
Present.
Okay. Ms.
Present. Can you hear me?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Harris?
Present.
Mr. Martin?
Present.
Mr. Powell? Is he there?
Present.
Okay. Ms. Pringle?
Present.
Ms. Somerville? Present. Mr. Stein?
Present.
Ms. Cordero Alton?
Present.
Mr. James Vickery?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. So tonight for our presentations, of course, we don't have a student report. So we will start with our Access Student Performance Data presentation by Ms. Moncloa, our Director of Multilingual and World Language Education.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is this better? So it's my pleasure to present our 2023-2024 access for ELLs test reports to the Board of Education this evening. What is access? I want to share some background information about the test. Access for ELLs is a state mandated test, and it's administered annually, February and March. We get the results in June to all multilingual learners. 4 domains are tested. Scores fall into one of the 6 WIDA language proficiency levels, and students become eligible to exit ML status with a cut score of 4.5 on the test. We use access data very intentionally to inform the programs we offer at multilinguals. Our staffing, it informs our staffing, the curricular resources we create or purchase, and the professional learning sessions we design for our faculty. We also use it to place each student in a language instruction educational program, or LEAP. And we strive for full compliance with NJDOE guidelines. I'd like to show you quickly the 6 WIDA proficiency levels. As you can see, they attempt to encapsulate WIDA's interpretation of how second language is acquired, from words and phrases to short sentences, moving along the continuum to more expanded language. Then we see the surgence of an expectation of technical language. Can you just say what WIDA means? Yes. WIDA started out as a consortium of states that created the first access test. So the WIDA came from Wisconsin, Delaware, and Arkansas. More states joined, and then WIDA changed its acronym to become World. I was so afraid somebody would ask me this, and I said, nobody's going to ask me this, so it's world class something. But now that's irrelevant, because now WIDA has dropped that acronym and is now just WIDA. So I apologize. I should have studied more. So no one's going to ask me to remember that. But Ms. Somerville is very inquisitive. So that's the continuum. They provide, so there's about 38 WIDA states, and New Jersey is one of them. They provide our standards, and they provide our language proficiency test. Our state next door, New York, is not a WIDA state, for example, but we are. I hope I've answered your question. They also provide professional development and a lot of guidelines for how to use the standards and how to instruct second language learners so they can move along the language continuum. So please note that the cut score of 4.5 is in the higher end of the expanding level. Do you see where the expanding is a level 4? And that's our goal for multilingual learners in all the WIDA states. So in terms of computing the score, note that although the 4 domains are tested in access, reading and writing are weighed more than listening and speaking. So the test places a greater demand on literacy instruction and literacy capabilities for our students. All identified multilingual students are tested, no matter what placement they are in, as long as they came in 2 weeks before the close of the testing window and they're identified as multilingual learners, they get the test administered to them. I wanted to show you what LEAPs we offer in the Hackensack Public Schools. What language instruction educational programs. So we offer full-time bilingual, which means 4 core subjects and a daily ESL class. And that's offered at 5 of our 6 schools. Fairmount doesn't have a full-time bilingual program. We offer sheltered instruction, which means it's a general education setting where the teacher is provided with PD in methodology to teach multilingual students, and an ESL, daily ESL class. That's offered at all the schools. We also offer what the state calls high-intensity ESL, which is 2 daily periods of ESL at the high school. And some students, per parent request, as they have a right to do so, do not have any English language services. And they are in general education programs with no linguistic support. And per state guidelines new this past year, we now identify preschool multilingual students, and we offer training to the teachers of multilingual students. I wanted to share with you the status of our multilingual enrollment, that it's increasing. And as you can see, from 2021 to now, the rate of the growth is also increasing. And we have, over a 3-year period, we have an 83.4% rate of increase. That figure of 1,069 that we currently have on Genesis will probably be higher by opening day as we continue to screen students over the summer. Currently, our MLs this year comprise 17.9% of our HPS enrollment. So our work to ensure their success is critical. As you can see from this slide, our multilinguals are bringing in a beautiful linguistic diversity to our district, and that is certainly something we need to celebrate. You can see that Spanish is the highest frequency language. However, we're also seeing an increase in indigenous languages now, which are currently being self-reported as Spanish, interestingly enough. Now for the actual access data. And thank you for indulging me and giving you some background information about multilingual learners in our district. So our participation rate is 98% this year. This figure does go up to 99% when we account for students who took some of the domains of the test, but were not able to complete all 4. We get scores for those domains, and those partial scores are very useful to us as well. So this slide is a bird's eye view of how our multilinguals did in our district this year. You can see our newcomer enrollment in the significant numbers of students at the entering level. There are healthy numbers in each grade band at the developing level. And of course, our goal is to move students to the expanding level. That is the darker green bar. We're definitely looking always at those dark green bars. This next slide has the exact same information as the previous slide, but you get to see the total of numbers of students that were tested in all the grade bands. In terms of race and ethnicity, these are our results. Please note that the Asian and Black and 2 or more races are minimal numbers. You saw the linguistic panorama of the MLs in the district. The Hispanic and white categories have the significant majority of the MLs tested. Since the vast majority of Hispanics self-identify as white, those 2 graphs have a significant correlation. So keep that in mind when you look at that slide. And we'll post up these slides on the website for you to peruse them. This is the disaggregated data for our socioeconomic status and our students with disabilities. It is great to see that significant numbers of students with disabilities are at the developing level. However, We will need to work collaboratively to support students in reaching expanding levels, particularly if they've been in the program for 4 or more years. So these next set of slides will provide a snapshot of where our ML scored at the elementary levels across the schools. So you can see that in kindergarten, most of our students are at the entering level, as can be expected in their first year of the program. In grade 1, we can see that curve moving with more students spread across the first 3 levels. That's a really nice image to see. It is a good place to highlight the work of the elementary schools. Take a look at the 46% of students at Nellie K. Parker at the developing level by this grade. This is a nice accomplishment. We're definitely seeing in our learning walks that high leverage practices are happening in many multilingual classrooms, and we want to celebrate that. In grade 2, this trend continues. We can clearly see the bell curve moving towards expanding levels with even greater numbers at the developing levels. We can highlight that all the schools for this growth and point out the stellar scores at Fannie Meyer Hillers. As an administrative cohort, we espouse a collaborative spirit, and we will be sharing best practices across the district. Grade 3 is where we begin to see that healthy movement to the expanding levels. We see Fairmount and Jackson Avenue students reach significant numbers at the developing level. This is a nice slide to look at for grade 4. Lots of movement to the expanding level. Shout out in particular to Fannie Meyer Hillers for those high numbers at the expanding level. We saw a lot of exits of our students happening at the 4th grade level, particularly at Nellie K. Parker. Please note that throughout the year, students continue to transfer into the district. So we will always have students at entering levels, but we want to continue to see this nice movement that we had this year at the elementary levels. The following slides have snapshots of the access results of individual schools. So I've highlighted, this is Fairmount. I've highlighted in these slides in darker blue where the most significant numbers are for each grade, and the lighter blue, the level where the second highest number of students are. It's the same information you saw in the previous slides in a different format. Take a look at Hiller School. Again, dark blue is the level with the highest concentration of students. And the next highest is in the lighter blue, so you could get a visual of where our students are. What did I do? Something horrific. There. This is Jackson Avenue School. And this is Nellie K. Parker School. So some notable achievements at the elementary level are definite language growth as we move up the grade levels following this natural English language development progression. We saw most of our students who exited, they were at the 3rd and 4th grades, and we do want that trend to continue to be that 3 to 4 years to exit the program. Congratulations and a deep acknowledgement to the ESL bilingual and sheltered instruction teachers who work with our elementary level students. They're really great at embedding English language development throughout the day in each subject they teach, as you could see by the images I showed you. As an added bonus, we know that elementary level students are very well primed language learners. To ensure elementary students continue to progress in their English language development, we will continue our alignment of ESL curriculum. We began that work last summer. We've continued that work this summer with the 2020 WIDA standards, focusing on oral language development and academic rigor. We will implement benchmark assessments for writing and speaking to supplement the new district reading benchmark assessments that will happen. And we will support systematic data collection, excuse me, and analysis. I'm gonna take a moment. By administrators and ESL teachers for progress monitoring and targeted instruction. So these are the access results for our multilingual learners in grades 5 through 8. We do see healthy numbers in the developing level. Those are those students that we hope are primed for reaching the expanded level in the next access administration. Our newcomer enrollment is clearly visible in the number of students at the entry level, as you can see, particularly in grade 8. And at the emerging level, we are seeing some students who have stagnated or regressed. Administrative teams must look closely at these students in order to better support their language development this school year. That's our full intention to do so. Our goal is to increase the numbers of students, of course, at the developing level. We know that those students that are at the developing level and above are better equipped to succeed in all academic subjects and state tests. Thank you. This is the same exact data, but in a table form with the colored indicators to show where most of the students are scoring at each level. I don't know who gave me water, but you're an angel. Thank you. These are the high school access performance results. We see a very healthy percentage of students at the developing level, and we love that. Of concern are the students who have been in the program longer than 5 years. We're looking at those individual students. Another concern for us are the students at the emerging level who stagnated or regressed from last year's access scores. We will be targeting those students for extra support and doing a root cause analysis. Our goal is to graduate students out of the program if they've been in the program longer than 4 to 5 years. Another critical goal for our high school MLs is to achieve graduation readiness, as you saw in last month's NJGPA report. Our school administrative team is vigilant at the high school of this goal, and they've been very successful in achieving it. This is the same high school data in table format. So some notable achievements at the secondary level. Despite increased enrollments of newcomers, there's an increase in students at the developing level in grade 6. When we compare the cohort of students who took access in 2023 to those who took the access in 2024, an average of 21.5% students went up in language proficiency level. Of that same cohort, an average of 30.8% of students went up in writing proficiency, with grade 7 achieving the most gains at 48%. 57% of students in grade 9 went up at least one level from one year to the next. And grade 9 students also made the greatest gain in writing level with 63% going up in one or more levels. So again, we acknowledge middle school and high school ESL bilingual and sheltered instruction teachers who quite frankly have become lifelines for our multilingual students, many of who are transitioning to a new country, a new language, and a new life. To ensure that our middle and high school students progress in their English language development towards the expanding level, we will continue alignment of our ESL curriculum to focus on literacy development and academic rigor. We are going to implement benchmark assessments in speaking because we implemented benchmark assessments in writing this past year. Support in systematic data collection and analysis by administrators, teachers, and instructional coaches to support everyone in progress monitoring and targeting the instruction. We're going to utilize grant funding judiciously to offer after-school grant-funded support for SIFE students. SIFE students are students with interrupted formal education and other students with educational differences. We're going to use grant funding to provide during-school intervention services for students at risk for academic failure and long-term multilingual learners. So those are students that stay in the program for what we consider too long. And that's a critical concern for us. We're going to continue our implementation of genre-based writing and individualized writing instruction to build on the promising gains in writing that were made this year. And again, utilize grant funding to secure graduation support for our multilinguals at risk for not meeting graduation requirements. Finally, we're going to continue to work with our HR department to stabilize our teaching staff at a time when teachers of multilinguals are high-need positions to fill. So a critical part of our improvement plan is our professional learning plan for bilingual education, ESL, and sheltered instruction teachers. This year, we're going to continue. Sorry, I'll slow down. This year, we will continue the district-wide initiative to deliver training in sheltered English instruction. That's a state mandate. So we're in full alignment with that mandate. We will continue training a cohort of teachers at each level with our focus being academic rigor, language development, high-quality interactions, and standards-based assessment. Concurrently, administrators and instructional coaches will create systems to support teachers via data analysis, high-quality feedback, and coaching cycles. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our school-based teams of administrators and our district-based administrative team, in particular, Superintendent Dr. McBride, Assistant Superintendents, Mrs. Marks and Mrs. Parchment, and our Board of Education, all of who have championed the success of multilingual students this year. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I tend not to say things that I don't feel in my heart. They continually support our funding, our staffing, our programs, and our teachers of multilingual students. Principals review data at the school level and at the student level. They sit with me and go granularly to place students where they need to be placed. They're flexible, they're responsive to student and family needs, and they're keenly attuned to the SEL and mental health needs of our multilingual students. Building administrators have been true collaborators in the goal to close the achievement gaps for our students. And I believe by working together towards this goal, we're going to continue to see progress in providing our multilinguals with a high quality education. Thank you.
So I'm going to invite Assistant Superintendent Rosemary Marks up. Yeah. Is it okay? Trustee Martin asked a question or last month that she was going to give us some information on say, on thought exchange. And so actually it wasn't last month, it was in committee meetings. Um,
Good evening once again to everyone here and to trustees at the dais. Good evening. So I'm here to share a little information, and this is really meant to be a brief overview on what thought exchange is. And so, let's see if I could, okay. So Thought Exchange is an AI-driven platform that basically specializes in surveys and community engagement. And this is just a little background. They've been around. AI might be new to some of us. More recently, we've adopted an AI policy, but they have been around for over 14 years, and they service districts across the country. So in thinking about what AI has the capacity to do, at the very top of that list for us is to support us in meeting the diverse needs of our students via analytic data and efficient analysis of the data. Thought Exchange as a tool is meant to help us gather feedback and insights from across diverse groups of our community more equitably and more efficiently through various engagement methods like surveys. In addition to surveys, they have what they call exchanges, and I'll explain those shortly, which are more like conversations to help us analyze data in real time. It's meant to be so that it's meant to help us not only understand the what, but more importantly, the why. And it will help us hopefully create action plans to help us move the needle at a building level, at a department level, at programmatically with the different program goals that we may identify. This next slide is just a visual. Exchanges, as noted down there, are about collecting qualitative conversational feedback. So in one of the demonstrations I had the privilege of participating in, there's a question. Based on your answers, there will be another open-ended question that you will be able to provide more feedback on. So it helps us dig a little deeper as to what the community is thinking. In addition to the exchanges and the surveys, part of AI provides us with AI-powered interviews. So based on our district priorities, and we're still working out our goals for next year, but many of us attended, we had the privilege of attending Unbound Ed in July. That seems like a long time ago because September is right around the corner. But as part of that professional learning that we participated in, many of us realized the need for us to focus on standards-based instruction. And we have curriculum based on standards, but really looking at what standards-based instruction provides to ensure that students at all levels are getting grade level appropriate materials and are getting grade level instruction. And so based on those needs, this here is just, I'm not going to read through these, but just some individual ideas of how thought exchange can help us within each of these categories. So for example, for SEL, which I am responsible for, and I will be using, hopefully, this tool to roll out SEL surveys. We have some that are specific to students in another platform, but because this platform is so much more comprehensive, the goal really is that in addition to the culture, collaboration, student achievement, we will also include, for example, attendance and SEL data analysis via thought exchange. This here is just some more information on our goals based on our strategic plan. And again, ideas, ways in which we can use thought exchange. So for example, one of our district goals currently is building, empowering, and engaging the community. Thought exchange will support this goal at the highest levels. And it's not just about collecting survey data, but the real-time analysis that the tool provides actually does analysis that then provides us with draft action plans based on community feedback. So community input, stakeholder input, whether it's a parent survey, it's a staff survey, or a community survey, would be gathered and then analyzed in real time. And those open-ended questions that AI has the AI within Thought Exchange has the power to analyze, really gives us some high leverage to respond to community feedback. This slide is just an overview of what an engagement timeline would look like. And we just started, fall would be September. If we were to start this in September, and we would start off with the back to school, collecting feedback and do a pulse check, collect survey data. Moving forward as we move along, do school needs assessments these are all examples. Benchmark data in the winter, and then again, a school climate survey after that, and in the spring and end of the year, pulse check. This is just an example. This slide is just an overview of the whole platform. So from engagement that provides for a deeper level analysis and equitable engagement across our diverse community, to data-driven decisions, to what they call instant actions, which are the real-time analysis, providing us, again, based on the community feedback gathered in that particular survey, with real-time actions that can be taken. And that's what they call the instant actions. And as an AI tool, it is vetted through a trusted security, high security levels in the platform that safeguard our data and privilege security. And then this here, it's an example of a sample district, and the color chart at the top left, in one of the schools, the school all the way to the right, shows that Charlemagne School has some severe needs across the different categories, particularly in school safety. And given the feedback in that survey, there was a draft action plan that now school administrators can take to create an action plan, a real action plan. And again, the important thing is that Thought Exchange provides us provides us with benchmark implementation to ensure we are working on our priorities. And finally, just an overview of partnership benefits, stressing deeper engagement across stakeholder groups, outcomes for supporting us with school climate, staff retention. And it does come, and I can say that in just the time that I've learned about AI, about the Thought Exchange platform and their AI capacity, they've been very responsive to questions and to supporting us in learning more about them. And this is all I have.
Thank you. I do have a question.
So it is a platform that will then integrate, we have, and I have to acknowledge and a shout out to our amazing tech team. So Adrian and his team are here, and through our technology department, the data integration happens where we would be able to then submit the surveys to, groups of parents, groups of students. It's all in there. The surveys are customizable, but they have banks of survey questions that are, and I can get you more information if you're interested, but very impressive, just a large bank of questions, and they're customizable.
Okay, and
So-
then other schools are in the platform, so we're benchmarking against different areas, or we're just benchmarking
No.
against ourselves?
Just ourselves.
I do have a question, Mrs. Marks. So is this replacing or working with Parent Square or Genesis? Is this a totally different platform for administrators? Or is it also for teachers, child study team, like?
So it is a different platform. It is not, it's different than Parent Square. And it's a data analytics platform and survey engagement platform that will allow us to collect data that will support administrators in planning. Survey data from teachers, for example, will support us in addressing teacher needs.
So
Does that make sense?
I'll
So
give
it's-
you,
So it doesn't replace Parent
oh, no,
Square,
no, no,
but
no,
it can work with Parent Square. So like if,
not necessarily per
Okay.
se. So I guess I'll give a little window into something that's happening. In my first 6 months, I had the opportunity to meet with various stakeholders, but I only got a chance to meet with a small subset of those constituents, whether a small amount of teachers or a small amount of parents or a small amount of students. So if I want to ask questions to students specifically around how are you feeling about the educational experience that you're having, or how do you feel like you have an adult that you can connect with in your building, we can send it out to every student. And every student can then we can get the analytics from those questions to figure out, gauge literally how everyone is doing as opposed to a small subset. And from that information, we can then in turn determine what our next step should be to address some of the information that we're getting. So it's more of a information driven where we're giving surveys, or we're having, I may also want to say, I want to hear from the community. I want to ask the community a question. And then they may respond, and their responses will pop up on the screen, and it'll identify what are the highest patterns that they're seeing. So we know that these are things that the community is most concerned about or most happiest with. And that becomes information for all of us as a board, for us as a school community. So it's more of an opportunity to hear the voices of people and then be able to have the data to allow us to make some decisions as to how to best move the district forward. Whereas Parent Square is just information coming from a variety of different people about different events. This is more literally kind of retrieving information from the constituents who are our stakeholders, parents,
so
teachers, and
it kind of, to me, sounds like.
Like a Survey Monkey.
Survey Monkey,
Yes,
yes, that's
but
exactly what I was just thinking.
Survey Monkey, except
Okay.
Survey Monkey keeps their data. We don't own it anymore. This allows us to have ours housed with us
Okay.
for as long as we are part of Thought Exchange.
Okay.
And if I may, the wonderful presentation that Ms. Monclo has just presented, when you see those charts and that the visualization of the data, Thought Exchange does that in real time for us.
Mhm.
So it takes a lot, it will save us a lot of time and really support us in being timely and responsive to the surveys and to the exchanging.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we will move on to our superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone has had an enjoyable summer, even though we are reveling down and getting ready to start a brand new year. We are truly excited about starting our 2024-2025 academic school year. I've had the opportunity for the past couple of weeks to visit some schools and meet with some leaders, and you see the preparations happening in the buildings already. We had a wonderful luncheon today for our custodians who are working hard around the clock. And so we want to shout out our wonderful custodians, our teachers and paras and guidance counselors who've been coming in, getting their rooms ready or helping to support opening. So we're excited about that. I want to give a special recognition and acknowledgement to our middle school. Speaking of Parent Square, hope you all looked at Parent Square today, our middle school families, and so that your schedules are now available. And I know they've been working tirelessly. So a great shout out to Mrs. Parchment, who's been working with the middle school leaders. A lot of this work has been driven by Dr. Whiting and her assistant principal. So I want to make sure we acknowledge them, and we are ready to start the year in our middle school off in a great way. So I just want to highlight some of those pieces. So yes, I'll transition now to the actual superintendent's report, which is very small today because we are in summer. Our enrollment currently is 5,222 students. There are no residency reports. There's none, and there are no HIBs at this time. I do want to do a quick FAQ around some of the questions that have been provided to us around the Kelly services. Again, Mrs. Budu-Howell is not in, so I will stand in her stead just to share a few of responses to some of the questions that have come to us that we want to provide for everyone as it relates to the questions. So number one, see, one of the questions said, if I currently am a full-time paraprofessional in the district, how does this new partnership impact me directly? It does not. You will continue to be an employee of Hackensack Public Schools. However, if you are absent or leave, Kelly Education will handle filling your position while you are out with a substitute or long-term replacement. Upon your return, your employment with Hackensack Public Schools continues as usual. 2, are all new part-time paraprofessionals, including one-to-one aides and 504 aides, required to gain employment through Kelly Education? Yes. Keyword is new. 3, as a current part-time paraprofessional, will I be required to switch to Kelly Education? No. You can choose whether you prefer to continue to be employed with Hackensack Public Schools or transition to Kelly Education. However, if you would like to access to the health benefits, Jackie, your head is in the way. Health benefits and or a 401k, you will need to transition to Kelly Education if you are interested in those options. 4, if I miss the Kelly Education transitional orientation on August 1st, 2024, will I be able to work in the district for the 2024-2025 school year? Yes. If you attend the upcoming session, which will be held on August 29th, 2024, in the Media Center Conference Room at the high school. 5, if I sign up to work with Kelly Education, will I lose my place on Hackensack Public Schools seniority list? No. Your position on the seniority list is not impacted by your choice to join Kelly Education, as your status is only reflective of the time you worked directly for Hackensack Public Schools. Remember, as a part-time paraprofessional, you have the autonomy to pick your employer. Hackensack Public Schools is not requiring you switch to Kelly Education. It is your choice. I hope that information has been helpful for some. And that concludes my report.
If I
Yes.
might,
Yes.
I want to thank you for the time you spent with me yesterday explaining this.
Mhm.
What created the confusion in my mind when we talked about substitute teachers, last month's agenda indicated Kelly would be responsible for substitute teachers. It did not go into what you've explained to me. So that left some confusion on my mind.
Okay.
So I'm
And mine
glad
as
you
well.
cleared that up with me yesterday.
Okay. Everybody clear? All right, I'm glad. Okay, well, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Now we will move to our public comments. The board not only welcomes your comments, we want to hear them. All participants must sign in. When it is your turn, please state the following: your name, municipality, any group that you are affiliated. If you list more than one, please clarify from which you are speaking from today. Each person has a limit of 3 minutes. Please direct all comments to me as the presiding officer. All responses that are appropriate to be responded to will be held to the end of the public comments portion. And we are ready.
Good evening, Kasim Gaines, proud president of the Hackensack Education Association. And tonight I'm speaking on behalf of our 165 district paras. In last month's presentation and later in an article, a Kelly rep said 3 things that concerned me. Kelly will be the employer of record moving forward for all paraeducators. Empty or vacant paraeducator positions will be filled by Kelly, and currently employed paras not yet transitioned will be given the opportunity to transition to Kelly. That sounds like privatization to me. No one has said the rep has misspoken about those 3 things. The article hasn't been retracted. Our attorney requested clarification weeks ago, and there was no response. The silence is loud and clear. This agreement kicks the privatization door wide open for every paraeducator in our district in ways I will explain. Our HR director told me that this is just to provide part-time paras with full-time employment and benefits. That sounds benevolent, but the math ain't mathing. If you wanted to provide them with benefits, even as part-timers, that can be done. The goal is to save the district money on the backs of the teaching staff. These part-time paras came before the board in May to ask for their worth. They shared how they have given their all to students and families, even when they've been kicked and bitten in the classroom. They asked for support, and the solution was to invite them to work for a temp agency with no job security for less pay in exchange for a discount on an ACA plan. That isn't support. That's preying on staff who need health care so badly, they're willing to trade some of their hourly wage for it. And unless there's magic math, it will result in a pay cut. We know how temp agencies work. The district pays them per employee, the agency takes a cut off the top, and the worker is left with the rest. Not to mention, Kelly is going to provide professional development to their paras. What a statement that is. You want extra learning to do better in the classroom? Go work for the temp agency. And here's why Kelly isn't just privatization for them. It sets the stage for privatization for all. Once the district takes a part-timer and makes them full-time, they have privatized that position. For anyone who thinks the district is going to permanently have 2 classes of full-time paras, some they provide benefits to, some they don't, some they give a living wage to, some they don't, some that they manage to the district's HR office, some they don't, some with union protection, some they don't, I envy your optimism. But we Oprah'd the contract and nothing in it contradicts what the rep said. This presentation today talks about what's currently being done, but the contract does not say this is the permanent practice. The plan is for Kelly to own the paras. That is what they have said. Otherwise, we are asking that the contract be amended to reflect what Dr. McBride just said, that our paras will not be forced to privatize into Kelly, and that Kelly will have nothing to do with our para educators, turning even one of them full-time.
Thank you. Before you go, we're gonna have,
So just as a point of clarification, I appreciate Mr. Gaines' communication around his theory as it relates to Kelly. But I want to provide also the idea that we have had in the past 3 or 4 years or years before I came, ESS. There is no difference. So I was wondering, was the same information communicated around Kelly provided to ESS services, because they're providing the exact same services as ESS. So if what you're communicating about Kelly, it must have also been applicable to ESS prior to Kelly.
no, you may not.
And I just want to clarify. So the idea is that we've only changed the service that we've utilized. Just like if I change my carrier from Verizon to AT&T, because I go with who has the better offerings for me. And so when we, as the district, have decided, because again, it sounds great that, you know, the district has the ability to pay for the benefits that we would love to. Unfortunately, we do not. And so we are trying to be mindful and ensuring that people do have access to other resources, knowing that they need and deserve the things that we can't provide. That was the leveraging factor as to why we did decide to choose Kelly, knowing that they could provide for those who chose to the option that we can't currently provide. And that is the rationale. We are trying to do our best to, in a situation where we would love to be able to pay for everyone to have those benefits. Currently, we are unable to. And we found out another vendor who was able to potentially provide that for us. And that was the thinking. We were trying to do what we thought is best for our stakeholders, who we do value, who we do appreciate, who we do know work hard on behalf of students and deserve deserve more. I didn't ask a question, but okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Wilkins. I'm a parent as well as a teacher here in Hackensack. I'm here tonight
What-
asking the district, yes.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm gonna let
okay.
you start over too. I just want to make it clear that the union does not represent the part-time pairs either. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Wilkins. I apologize.
Not a problem. My name is Stacy Wilkins. I'm a parent and a teacher here in Hackensack. And I'm here tonight asking the district to purchase new marching band uniforms for our high school band. Under the direction of Mrs. McVicker, the marching band has grown from 12 members to over 75 in just 3 years. With this growth, we now have more marching band members than we have band uniforms. Our current uniforms are over 12 years old and have served their purpose well. Our marching band is a reflection of our district. They represent Hackensack wherever they go, not just our football games and Thanksgiving Day parades, but at competitions, and we have even performed at the New York Jets football game. Our marching band students work so hard to sound great and represent Hackensack the best way they can, but they should also look good doing it. The public sees our band before they even hear us play a note. First impressions are lasting impressions, and a band that performs with all of their members not in uniform does not give a good impression of Hackensack. Their amazing musicianship will get lost in the mix because they do not look the part. Our marching band is doing their part, and now they need the district to do theirs and provide them with new uniforms. Thank you.
Is there anybody online? All right, anybody else? So that closes our public comments for tonight. Thank you all for your participation. Be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education determines it necessary to meet in executive session on Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, to discuss legal, personnel, student-related matters, HIB reports, which are none, negotiations, and other confidential matters, and be it further resolved that these matters will be made public and confidentiality no longer exist. Can I have a motion to move into executive session? Thank you, Ms. Pringle. Bill, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. It is 7:11. We hope to be back within an hour. All right, welcome back. We will get started with our resolutions. Are we ready?
Yes.
Mr. Goodbar? Ready? Let's see.
Mr. President, just a procedural question.
Yes, sir.
Not a big thing. But we take a vote to go into private session. Should we take a vote to come out of private session? The answer should be no.
I don't remember that from Robert's rules, but I can look it up again. I don't remember Robert's rules saying you have to gavel out of private. So I can check. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't have my Robert's. rules.
We usually do a roll call.
I'm just asking, yeah,
I mean,
because we take a roll call to go into,
yeah, we usually do a roll call, yes, coming back to the dais, yes.
to come back, we should take another
Yeah,
roll call.
yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 8:59.
Ready? Okay. All right, welcome back. Ms. Singh,
Yeah, roll call for us to record who is in public session again. Mr. Carroll,
I'm present.
Ms. Harris,
Present.
Mr. Martin,
Present.
Mr. Powell,
Present.
Ms. Pringle,
Present.
Ms. Somerville,
Present.
Mr. Stein,
Present.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Present.
Mr. James Vickery,
present.
quorum is present.
All right. Be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education approves the regular meeting minutes and executive session meeting minutes of July 24th, 2024. Can I have a motion to approve those? Thank you, Mr. Stein. Can I have a second? Ms. Somerville, thank you for the second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none.
The ayes are both the noes.
All right, we'll move into our Mr. Stein. We'll have our resolutions, starting with personnel.
Yes. So I've been advised that there's a Scrivener's error in personnel item EE 1 through 4. All items should list 40 hours as not to exceed and not 20 hours. So motion to amend to reflect the appropriate number of hours.
That motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay. Another item is F6 will be removed.
Okay, so we're removing F6 per the superintendent.
Correct.
So does everybody have those corrections? All right, so now.
So, motion to amend, as amended, so motion to take action on personnel matters as listed. A1, AA through KK as amended.
All right, we have a motion by Ms.
Let me just clear, amended is F6 and EE, just changing the rates, right? Those are the two amended.
F6
All
to be
right,
removed,
gotcha.
EE change,
No
yes.
problem.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I thought we were going to table.
We're removing it.
No issue. Thank you.
You want to take the roll?
Do we have a second?
So, we have a
Second.
Motion.
second from Ms. Somerville.
Mhm. Okay,
Now
Mr.
we'll do a roll call.
Yeah, Mr. Carroll. Mr. Carroll.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
So yes, to everything for me,
Mhm.
except G2.
Except G2.
I'm sorry?
What page is that? Was that?
No.
Was that,
No
what
to
page is that?
G2.
G2 is 3. Okay, page 3. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. James Vickery,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, moving on to policy.
That is me again.
Still you.
So we were busy in policy. As always, thank you very much, Mrs. Marks, Miss Rosemary. Thank you. So, for policy, there are no first reads. And for B2, be it resolved that the Hackensack Board of Education, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, approves the second reading of the policies as shown. For everyone reviewing, there were 14 in total, and 9 of them were considered mandatory. So go ahead.
All right, so we have a motion from Ms. Cordero Alton. May I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Pringle. A roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to curriculum. Trustee Martin.
Motion C1 through C22, highlight C9. So the presentation is to approve the agreement with Fulcrum Management Solution Incorporated for Thoughts Exchange Engagement 360 to support the school community outreach and engagement for the total amount of not to exceed $41,620.
All righty, we have a motion from trustee Martin. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Pringle. Roll call, please.
I have a
Miss-
question. I have a question.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Discussion.
For C14,
please.
so C14, it was Unbound Ed. I had a question about them back in May when we had, for our leaders who attended the conference, correct, with the same, company. So now I see again that we're using the same company, but we haven't, or the last month, you had said that we were gonna do the turnkey here at the meeting with the principals in September? Okay, so is that the same as, is this a different professional development that we're using with this company, or is what exactly is
This is for the actual teachers and the coaches.
for the teachers and the coaches? Okay, so the turnkey that the leaders are doing are just for turnkey for leaders, not for the rest of the staff.
So similar to any adoption of any curriculum, or it's imperative that the leaders know what the curriculums are, what curriculum entails, because they're gonna be ones actually monitoring its implementation for effectiveness and support for the actual people who are implementing it. So that's why you had the district leaders, you have board leaders understand the concept, and then you actually have the people who are actually be implementing, also learning it as well. So this is the second phase. Now we're going to be able to have those individual teachers and coaches. The third phase we'll be actually doing a Gleam audit in January. We're actually going to be coming to the schools, looking at observing what's being implemented, providing recommendation, providing a board report and presentation as it relates to actually what we're doing good at, but what our areas of growth are to meet the expectations of standards-based instruction.
So this company is the one that you're saying they're gonna come in and give us this information?
So yes, so they'll do the audit in January, just like if we're gonna do our central information about an equity audit. They come in and look at all areas of the district, disproportionality, and then provide us recommendations for, as a district, where we are and where we need to be.
Okay.
Yeah. But I also want to say that we're grounding the holding, I'm giving too much information away. as before, because we're gonna have a convocation in, what, a few days? Where the master plan, I guess, will be revealed, and standards-based instruction is gonna be the driver of the district. So everything around our professional learning will be around standards-based instruction. And what does that look like? And how do we support the implementation of it effectively? When you heard Mrs. Marks talking about the idea that we have got to make sure people are teaching to the standards, these are the people who are going to be supporting us with doing that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All right, now a roll call, please.
Okay. Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes, yes.
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, moving on to yeah. Mr. Carroll, do you want to do that, or you want someone in the room to do it?
Demetrius. Is he listening?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
sir.
can.
Okay, I make a motion to move D1 through D8, highlighting D5, which is the approval for Westmount Country Club for the high school prom. And D6 designates the following meeting dates for the regular public meetings for the 24-25 school year. And D7, donation of backpacks with school supplies, totaling approximately $2,000 from Cinzari.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carroll. Made a motion. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Pringle. She's on
What's it on
the
there?
second tonight. Any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Too fast.
No, you're good.
On that, D6, will that meeting be held in here or in the, new auditorium? We talking about the board meetings? Is that correct?
Yeah, well, it just says high.
It just says.
Yeah, so,
Will be held in the media center or in the auditorium?
no,
Now that is, we'll be back.
no, it'll still be held in here.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
For D7, did we already do the backpack?
Not this yet.
Not quite.
Okay, no, so I presume they'll send out the date, right, to everybody, so the parents know? Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
Yes,
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, and Mr. Carroll, Buildings and Grounds.
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to approve E1 through E8, highlighting E2, which approves proposal for Hillers Elementary School auditorium seats from Nickerson in the amount of $134,571.28. E6 approves a proposal by DMR for to provide conceptual phase design for 2 sites, totaling $14,500. And E7 is the agreement between the Hackensack Board of Education and the City of Hackensack to access the district property for soil testing, determining eligibility of underground water storage.
Right, very good. So we have a motion from Mr. Carroll. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Pringle. Any discussion? All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Powell,
yes,
Ms. Pringle,
Yes.
Ms. Somerville,
Yes.
Mr. Stein,
Yes.
Ms. Cordero Alton,
Yes.
Mr. James Vickery,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, community relations?
So the application for the community closed on July 31st. Thank you to all those who participated, who sent in applications. We received 50 applications, so thank you, thank you, thank you. So applications were given to the trustees. Trustees were able to select. We had one trustee who did not participate in selecting for our Community Relations Committee. Mrs. Cordero Alton did not participate, nor did she submit or participate in the meeting. I also received the day of our meeting, August 13th, from our president, Scott James Vickery, giving me names on who not to name or who not to add to our list.
Okay, that's out of order,
So
out of order.
we
Ma'am,
did,
Miss Harris,
we
Miss
did
Harris,
notify
sorry, that
our
is,
people, and people have
if you're
been
going to
responding
speak, you're
back.
going to
Thank
speak
you.
with the truth.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
That's absolutely, okay, so, we're gonna move on. Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any new business and just so the public can
Excuse
understand,
me, Mr.
that, no,
President,
no, out of
I'd like to
order.
finish our report.
That's it. It's done.
Can she finish?
No, she may not.
I will finish there my comments. Thank you.
And we'll move right past those two. We'll call that out of order. We're going to,
It is not out of order. It is my right to report what happened at the committee, and that's what happened during the committee.
Get back to the agenda, please.
yes, so, any new business? Hearing none. Board comments.
Hi, everybody. Long day, long night. It is now 9:15, so I would like to make a motion for no more board comments. Good night, everybody. Let's go home.
We have a motion for no board comments. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a second for Mr. Who was that? I think that was Mr.
Lance.
From Lance. Okay, will you do a roll call for that?
That's just not okay.
No,
Carroll, we're voting on.
Adjourning, yes.
I'm sorry?
We're voting on adjourning without board comments.
We all need to.
No. As in, no, we should have board comments.
okay.
Oh, so it's a yes.
He said no.
So you're saying.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm saying we should have board comments. I'm saying
Shouldn't,
we should.
shouldn't. Sorry, Demetrius.
Should.
Shouldn't.
Hey, um,
Scott. Scott,
That we should have board comments.
We
Scott,
should.
Scott,
So yes or no?
No.
hello?
So-
hang on, Mr. Powell, we're doing a roll call.
Okay.
The motion before us is to adjourn.
So I say-
Let's do the board comments. Let's do the board
I say no to adjourning.
Mhm.
Let's do board comments, Scott. Let's go ahead.
Okay, I withdraw my motion.
Okay,
Yeah, let's go ahead.
are you finished with your board comments?
Yeah, good night.
Okay, Ms. Pringle?
Thank you everyone for coming out like I usually say, but thank you everyone for coming out. Good night.
Mr. Stein?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ms. Moncloa for the fine presentation. I hope that sometime in the future, we will see the progress that these children are making, that we can move them more into mainstream. And also to our Assistant Superintendent for her presentation. I hope everybody enjoys the next 2.5 weeks of summer, and welcome back to September. That concludes.
Mr. Martin?
I concur what Mr. Stein said. Director and our superintendent, job well done. Thank you for your time and all the effort you put into this. And for our community committee, I'd like to also thank Ms. Harris for all the hard work you have done. I've been on the board with you since January, and you put a lot of effort into this where it wasn't what it is now. A lot of the community, I've received a lot of feedback that on the things that you have doing. And I'm looking forward to the town hall meeting that will be put in place. I think we'll get a lot of that out of the community and get to hear what they have to say. So thanks again on all the work you have done chairing this. And I wanted to let our band director, knowing her for a long time and watch her and her husband bring Hackensack and represent us wherever they went, especially at the Giant Stadium. I mean, at the Giant Stadium, I have been there when they were in competition there and played. I believe that, yes. And I always thought he was getting those new uniforms every 2 years or so. Every 10, 15 years is ridiculous. I know this board here is a full agreement on getting the uniforms as well as our superintendent. So our kids will look sharp. They will go out there and represent the Comets, the blue and gold that we are, and all the shoulders that we stood on from our assistant principal back in the day, Mr. Delator, and athletic director and recreation, all those titles he used to hold, all the way up to Mr. DeFalco, the principal and wrestling coach. We stand on all those shoulders as well as all the other coaches and athletic director shoulders. So the job well done to our band director. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there on the field. That's it on my comment.
Just want to say, before we continue with board comment, as your legal representative and the person whose job it is to not only protect you legally, but also the board as a whole, to make sure that you are viewed appropriately. That's part of my job, okay? I just want to urge everyone to remember that these are public comments, that they will be publicly recorded, that they will be written down in minutes, and that people are listening, and that there is heat coming off of a lot of people at this table. And just take a breath and make sure that what you are going to say, for everybody who still has yet to speak, who I can feel the heat coming off of, that it is actually what you want to say and be a public statement and not just an emotional statement that you're going to regret later. Okay, that is my advice to you as the person who watches you from a PR perspective and a legal perspective. Take a breath, make sure, don't let your heat out on this table. Think about the kids. Starting a good school year, so.
Thank you. So we're at the point where sadly it's the end of summer, but it is the beginning of a new school year. I just wanted to wish everyone, our students, our staff, our parents, good luck in the new school year. If we keep a positive mindset, get everything done before the first day. So schedules were sent out. The only way you can see it is by completing all the forms. I know it's a little nuanced depending on how many kids you have. I had to do it for mine. But you just do it. And then my son was very excited to see his schedule and ready. And then he started sharing with all his friends. So I'm also looking forward to seeing first day school pics, which has become a new thing, right? Before and then the last day of school. So looking forward to that. I wanted to thank Ms. Moncloa and your team. I don't know if other people helped you with the presentation, but it was a very informative presentation. We had a little quick conversation before coming out here, but I true hope that we can bridge the gap with our MLs and you know, the 27% increase, it is huge. 1,000-something students in our district is a lot of students for our MLs. So I hope that everything that is put in place gets to be put in place and that it becomes and that our students do progress to achieving onto that next level of phasing out of the ML program. And thank you, Dr. McBride, also for explaining about the Kelly education. I know there will be some more information session for our paras, and I hope all of that also, which I'm pretty sure will be displayed for them as well, so that there aren't any confusions. And thank you for always answering my questions as well. And thank you to Mrs. Marks as well for your presentation. Yes, it was very well thought out. And then thank you to the community who applied for our Community Relations Committee. Like I had said, you guys applied, I have responded. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the upcoming school year and really bridging that gap between the community and our school. Like I said, we have more, I've already received more than half of the people who were asked to be a part of the committee that they confirmed. Just keep in mind that the date that we need it to be done is by September 1st, because our meeting is slowly approaching. So if you could just, if you got it, respond. If you don't want to be a part of it, so that way we can add somebody else to it. And that is it. Have a good night.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for everybody online, everybody still present here, and to those that will likely review the videotape tomorrow. I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the community right now that I see distributing school supplies to our students, backpacks to our students. They are ongoing efforts taking place most every weekend at one of our local churches, one of our local lodges or Elks clubs. Tonight, we specifically highlighted Joseph Sanzari, but I'm also very aware that the Bergen County Sheriff's Department has also contributed to this for our students, for our kids. So I'm very grateful. I appreciate it. I'm very sure that the parents and the students receiving those things are also very grateful and appreciative. Something I wanted to highlight today from the agenda to all of our students looking forward to graduating in 2025. Your prom date has already been assigned, the location. Project 2025 prom is underway. So please be prepared, show up, show out, and I look forward to seeing all of you at that time as well. One thing I would like to make mention to the students that are turning 18 this year. It is a huge voting year in general, in life. This is your opportunity to make your voices heard, whether it be on a local level or on the greater scale of the US presidency. I do ask that if you are turning 18 before November 5th, you go ahead and register to vote. If you are 17 years old, you can go ahead and register to vote so long as you're 18 on November 5th. Take it seriously. It is a personal choice. I'll never say I don't care where you vote, but I do care that you vote, especially on the local levels. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was to the students that showed up here tonight with their parents in regards to item that has now been removed with regards to a coach. I ask that if you have issues or concerns, you absolutely go to the person primarily responsible. In this particular situation, I recommend that you speak to your other coaches at the school, or you go directly to the athletic director. If at that point you need to go somewhere else, you please reach out to the superintendent of schools. I appreciate that you showed up here tonight. I'm sorry that you didn't have the opportunity to express yourselves. It is a big decision for you as a student in our school, and your opinions absolutely matter. So make them heard. Never be ashamed. To Ms. Moncloa, I really enjoyed your presentation. I definitely see there's always going to be room for improvement. Many years ago, when my son was entering into the Hackensack public school system, he was supposed to be going to Hillers. And at that time, the principal of the school was Mr. Calles. And he was amazing. He was amazing. My husband, his brother, his sister, his family all went to Fairmount Elementary. My son was supposed to go to Hillers, and we wanted him to go to Fairmount. At that time, we were fortunate enough that Hillards had a lot of challenges then. But one of the things that Mr. Kaez made me sure of was exactly what you presented here this evening, which is that certain areas of our district and our schools are always going to be inundated with new students, new ELL students specifically. I was really, really impressed, and I think that he would have been as well to see the amazing progress that Hillers showed from the charts that you provided, as well as Fairmount. So to those principals, Dr. Judy Soto, Mr. Boateng at Fairmount, and to all of our principals in our elementary schools. We're a big district. We have 4 elementary schools. Keep doing what you're doing. It's working. I look forward to the opportunities for growth. I look forward to seeing those students just get better and better. And I appreciate all the efforts that each and every single one of you do. And I know that they do as well. So thank you very much for that. I just want to make sure I wrote everything down that I talked about. I want to congratulate the teachers. So, we talk about these teachers and how amazing and fortunate we are to have the ones that we do have. If you looked at tonight's agenda, you saw that there was a list of teachers who continued their education. So it's a benefit to them, right? They get some more money, right? But at the same time, the fact that they are growing themselves and staying here speaks volumes. And so to all those teachers taking advantage of that opportunity to improve, continue the career because you love doing what you're doing, I thank you. And I thank you for doing it here with us. Our kids will definitely reap the benefits. And I think that you probably look at them at the end of the year and go, I did that. And you absolutely did. So, to all the teachers, keep doing that. And to those that were on that list, thank you for doing it. All right. And that was it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. Unfortunately, I forgot our 2 trustees on the whatever you call it online. So Mr. Carroll.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thanks everyone for coming out and listening. If you guys are at home, also hope everyone had a wonderful summer. As you can see, I'm not there. The summer is winding down, and I'm away. And I would like to say also, my girls were so excited to have their schedules today. And I want to thank the staff and administration for getting that out and doing a good job with that. And again, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Mr. Powell.
Hey, how are you? Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Just to the board members, thank you all for participating as always. Thank you for what you do. It's not an easy job, a thankless job, but we're happy to do what we do. As long as we do it for the kids and it benefits the kids, that's what we're all here to do. Thank you for Ms. Moncloa and Ms. Marks for your insightful and wonderful presentation. Thank you to Dr. McBride and your hardworking staff and your cabinet for what you do. And thank you for your answers and your clarity and your transparency towards the Kelly questions or Kelly issues. But thank you for clarifying them. They were crystal clear. Also, thank you and your crew and whoever worked on the schedule. We have a schedule. And we're just grateful to everyone. And you know what we went through the last time. So we are all grateful that we have moved past that and we have had a schedule in advance for our kids and our parents. That's a wonderful accomplishment. And we hope that our schedules can continue. And I'm sure they will be in a timely manner. So we're grateful and thankful for that. And just thankful for our kids. And I hope you're having a great summer. It's going by pretty quickly. Enjoy what's left of it. And we're looking forward to having you back in school, studying, learning, engaging, socializing, and just having a great school year. And I want to say thank you to all our teachers. Hope you're enjoying the summer and look forward to having you back, teaching our kids and doing what you do best, educating the kids of Hackensack. Thank you to our custodians. Thank you to everyone that's involved in the education of our kids. You know, we all have to do this together. Every single person that works in this district is very important. So we're looking forward to a wonderful school year, and I know our kids will do well because we have a great staff. And just thank you, Dr. McBride, for your leadership, and thank you, crew. I've seen where the district is trending in the right direction, and we're grateful and thankful for that. And that's all we need. Anything to benefit our kids. That's all we need. Nothing else. Keep our eyes on the prize to help our kids. And just thank everyone for the hard work. And guys, just enjoy what's left before school starts. Enjoy your families. Families are important. Families are important. They get us through this period, and they'll get you to all the period that lies ahead of us. So just want to thank everyone and look forward to a wonderful school year. And again, trustees, thankful and happy I'm serving with you all. Thank you, everyone, for what you do. And just always remember that we're doing this together. We're all in this together. And together we'll be successful. So thank you again. And hope everyone, COVID is on the rise. Be careful. COVID is on the rise. Be careful. And that's all I'll say about that. And get home safe, everyone. And just thank you all again for what you do. Have a blessed night and be safe.
Is he done?
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. So I too want to thank you, Ms. Moncloa, for talking to us in a very real way about our multilingual learners. And one of the things that we really appreciate in this district is our diversity. And that is such a key component to making sure that our diversity is strong and healthy and able to participate fully in our community. And so we're thankful for the presentation that you gave and helping us understand how we can continue to navigate and support in the right areas. Ms. Marks, thank you for your presentation from Mr. Martin's question in committee meetings. And I think it's going to be really helpful. I mean, I love the idea of being able to do things in real time and getting the information that we need. The start of school is always exciting. I have 6 kids, and the schedules came out today. 2 of them are at the middle school, and then we were on FaceTime all day, and somehow they were able to manage popping up their schedule and the FaceTime calls all at, and comparing who has lunch and whatever, and who's in what classes. And there was lots of squealing and whatever at our house today. So it's an exciting time. So thank you to all of the administrators at the middle school who work so diligently, and at central office who support that to make sure that happens. We have 5,222 bosses, as Mr. Oates would always say. And I think that we have to remember that is why we serve on this board. And keeping that in the focus is always going to be my priority. And serving as the president is always trying to work to keep everyone the best we can in sync and moving in the right direction. And we don't always display our best selves up here. And you know, I'm sorry for that, and I take responsibility as the board president for that. But we will continually work to do better so that we can support our students and our staff and everyone in our school community the very best that we can. So with that, I ask that we have a motion to adjourn. I'm sure Ms. Pringle will.
Motion.
We'll let Ms. Pringle second that.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.